Hey guys, Coach Jay here. I just want to do a quick video. It's going to be a little random and cover a few different topics. One, a little bit of different coaching styles, which next week we're going to be doing an episode on that on the Power Shift Mindset podcast. I spoke to Shruti today, and we're going to be recording this week's episode, and then next week we're going to record on the different styles of coaching, but I do want to touch on that a little bit here. Also, gratitude being one, and another thing is just having people that are supportive. There were a lot of things that went on this week with a friend of mine, for myself, where things came back to me, and I just wanted to touch on them, on the gratitude thing. And Shruti and I have talked on the podcast on why we love to coach, and I have a bunch of friends that are in my life that I've met through athletics mainly, and just coaching in general. And they've become some of my best friends. They're the people I look up to. And when there's a passion for coaching, we're doing it out of the love of the sport. Or if it's something else. I know someone that coaches pageants. I know someone that coaches salespeople. So there's all different types of coaching. For me, it's in the sports and athletic world, so you'll hear me refer to that. But any type of coaching, you do it for the love and for the passion. I will say anyone that is a high school coach, as much as it is a paid position, trust me, you're not doing it for the money, because if you do it right, you break it down, you're making like $1.73 an hour when you take how many hours you put into it. When you're talking about being on the phone and discussing game plans with your assistant coaches, or staying after and talking to the student athletes about different things, when you realize how much time you put in, you're not doing it for the money. You're doing it for the love of that sport, working with the kids and whoever you're working with. And I've seen different styles of coaching. For those of you that are old enough to know, there's the whole Bobby Knight style of coaching, the screaming, the antics, the throwing the chairs onto the basketball court. So there's a lot of that drill sergeant type mentality of coaching. And then there's also, I like to coach the mental game a lot. As much as I know the physical side of sports, I had asked a bunch of coaches, if you divided sports into 3 different segments, you have the skills of the individual sport. So how to kick the ball, throw the ball, catch the ball, or whatever your sport has, those hands-on skills. And then if it's a team sport, you have the team aspect of coaching. Okay, are we going to play an attacking game today? Are we going to play a defensive game? Are we going to play a counterattack? So you have the game management style. And then you have the whole mental game. It's David and Goliath. We're not Goliath, but we have to convince our team that we can go out and take the giant down. And I would put myself personally as a 3-2-1, with the mental game being one, the overall team, and depending on the sport, the individual thing, probably third. And all those 3, I've been referring a lot lately in a lot of my talks about the tripod. The tripod of health is your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health. The tripod in coaching sports would be the mental side of the game, the actual skills, and then the game plan. So there's a lot of different things with that. And I know I was working with someone else who happens to be a coach, happens to be competitive and strong, and has always been able to achieve all the goals that they went after, and supported other people, and has had a tough week. And I left him a message, and he got the message, and then we were talking more today. And at the end of the conversation, he just I finished the conversation with, "Hey, I really appreciate you." And we're kind of like the not to use the reference, but kind of like that, the yin yang. Everyone knows what that is. The swerved black with a little white dot, and then the curve of the white with the little black dot. And it represents, in my understanding, it represents the bad that's in the good, and the good that's in the bad. But it's also a balance thing, and we kind of balanced each other, where he has more of that outspoken drill sergeant type of way of coaching, where I'm more laid back. I'm not the one that's going to scream and say, come on, you can do one more. Come on, let's go. I'm more that mental game. I'm the one when the person had trouble getting out of bed, making it to the gym in the morning, saying, listen, the rest is just as important as the note. The rest is just as important as the workout. And they look at that and they appreciate that. And I've been putting quotes on. So this person had commented how I had helped him out, and someone else commented about a quote I wrote on the chalkboard easel at the gym. He said, oh, he must have done this. And he pointed out that it did that. And he said, yeah, I had to take a picture of this yesterday because it really hit me. And earlier this week, a couple days ago, I'm coming back from the archery shop with my wife. We had to get some equipment and stuff. And I get a message on Instagram from one of my archers who's now gone off to college, and she brought her bow with her, and she sends me a message, hey coach, I brought my bow, I had practice, they want me to get my level 2 instructor and really help the team, and I couldn't have done it without you. And it's like my reply to her was, okay, stop making me cry. It's just one of those things where when you have someone that comes out and tells you how you help them and how much they appreciate the things you do, I mean, it really makes everything you do that much more worth it. And it was, I mean, to get this like multiple times in this past week, a couple of the girls at the gym that do the morning class, they asked about the quotes the other day. They're like, oh, hey, you didn't change it yet. And I never realized how much the people were looking at the quotes. Now I have like 850 quotes on my phone that I randomly send out to friends on any given time, just when I'm thinking them. So I started putting some of them on this board, and I would change it probably every other day. I'd probably leave them up for 2 days or so, and they commented how it wasn't changed. And it just never really dawned on me that they're really looking at it. And then to find this other person who took a picture of one because it really hit them, and to have the other person who mentioned that they appreciate me and that it means so much as a coach and just as anyone really, when you get those compliments and you realize how much you touch someone else. And again, to go back to that coaching style, you don't need to be that screamer, that yeller, to really push someone. You can push them, I don't want to say in a gentle way, but in a more supportive way. And on the flip side, it works the other way too, where there are times where you need to have that energy and stuff. And I've always joked around. People always ask, what's the best advice you've ever been given? And there's two things that have always really stuck with me. Years ago, my father said, everyone's job description, the last line on everyone's job description is, and any other assigned task. So if you're a chef and you're cooking and you're making all this fancy food, and the owner of the restaurant comes out and says, hey chef, can you take out the garbage? Guess what? That's another assigned task. Taking the garbage is not below you because you're the chef. Or if you're the mechanic and someone says, you're the head mechanic, and they say, hey, I need you to sweep the floor over there. Someone spilled some stuff. It's not below you. And that one's really stuck with me. And part of it is going from playing as a team member, coaching as a team member. And again, it might sound corny. I'm a team player. So that one's always stuck with me. And then the other one was, I had a coach tell me that you only really get about 10 years with your kids. You can't really interact with them until they're like 5 or 6 years old. And then when they hit 15 or 16, they rather go and hang out with their friends. They don't want to hang around with mom and dad. So I've made it a point to make those 10 years count. And my kids are 13 and 16. And so far, they still want to hang out with dad. So I must have been doing something well. But again, as far as like the gratitude and the thanks, when you have someone in your life and someone that really connects with you, that's really supported you, and a simple text, a phone call, something I like to do is a handwritten letter. I have just a box of the little 4x5 blank cards that I'll send out randomly, and just tell people I'm thanking them and thank them for the support they've given. And I have a small handful of people that have been really supportive. And then, I have that second tier of everyone that asks me how I'm doing. And just like anyone, you have that close-knit circle of who really is there for you at all times, that has really helped you, that's been a component of your success. And to go out and say thank you. And this week's just been extremely flattering, with how many messages I've had from people for different things. One's for the gym, one's for archery, one's for just being there and listening. I had a friend whose husband passed away, and I sent something and got a message from her on how much she appreciated a card I sent. And it really feels great when someone shows how much they appreciate you and does what they can to hold you back. And in terms of work, I've never really had, I mean, I've had people say thank you and you appreciate what you do. But then when there's no fight to really keep you as part of that team, I mean, how much of that was sincere and how much of it was just, and trying to just coat things and keep it good. But for those of you that have reached out and commented and complimented, whether it be my quotes or what I've done for you as a coach, I mean, it means so much to me to hear that. And just remember, when you're looking for that coach, and we can all use coaches. That was one of the quotes that I put up there. Everyone, including coaches, can use a coach. And don't always look for the most energetic. Don't always look for, I mean, if you're looking at a trainer, it doesn't need to be the person that's, I mean, ripped and the size of Arnold or anything like that. And we'll go into the coaching styles and what does a coach need to have in terms of the knowledge of what they're doing or the personality. I mean, what weighs more? I mean, you can be a book of knowledge, but the personality of a brick, and you're not going to get your point across. And then the flip side, you can have the best personality with minimal knowledge and be extremely successful. And it's not always one way or the other like that. But and thanks again for those that have reached out to me. And just remember, if you have people that have part of your support system that have really helped you succeed, been components of your success, and send out a quick thank you. Just a note. I mean, nowadays things are Facebook messages and text and Instagram messages. But I really like that handwritten note. So next time you're at a CVS or a Walgreens or something like that, go into the section where they have the thank you cards and just buy the box of 20 blank cards and send something out, and do it the old fashioned way. It really means a lot. And again, for those that have shown, thanks for what I've done for you. And it means so much to me to hear from you. Thank you.